Here it is. The crown jewel of all of my collecting. Generation 1 Transformers. I first fell in love with Transformers at the age of 6, but not for the reasons everyone else did. You see, the single fascination I have in this world that goes beyond Transformers Generation 1 are cars. And I prided myself at an early age to know the year, make, and model of certain cars. To me, especially the Autobots, Transformers were basically real-world cars that stood up and fired laser rifles at each other. The combination of comic, cartoon, and toys set the stage for a lifelong quest to have everything I didn't get to have that said Transformers on it from the 1980s. So, getting into the collection here, we'll start at the Dinobot shelf. Wheelie, of course, sitting with the Dinobots because he met them in the movie. That's actually the Fall of Cybertron Grimlock, but the actual G1 Grimlock is back there in both robot mode and dino mode. See Trailbreaker hanging out back there. See if I can get the Grimlock on the cover of that certain comic book, and then a couple of random Technobots I just have extra. The glass isn't dirty, it's just that scratched up. These cases actually came from KB Toys, so this was one of the counter cases where they had the transactions at. Moving on to the next shelf, I've got a lot of the Seekers. Got what I believe is a Universe Starscream next to an original Starscream, along with Dirge Thrust and the first Transformer I bought as an adult, which would be Grapple. Moving on, we get up to a lot of the autograph stuff. That is a Generation 1 small-fisted Optimus Prime with the gray roller, signed by Peter Cullen, and Megatron in gun mode there is signed by Frank Welker. And as I get a better view of the Frank Welker autograph on the Megatron handle, the gun handle there, I'll go up to the 20th anniversary DVD release that is signed by Paul Eiding, Frank Welker, Peter Cullen, Stan Bush. A lot of the original movie cast signed the movie. I was going to get a lot more this year, but because of COVID-19, everything got canceled when it came to. There's the original CB radios, or excuse me, walkie-talkies. I'd love to get a hold of another one to see if that one works. Moving on to the next shelf here, I know that random third season Trypticon is a little out of place, but with the amount of Autobots compared to the amount of Decepticons, it kind of needed something to tip the scale a little bit in balance on the shelf, because there's a lot of Autobots ended up on the shelf, including the signed Paul Eiding Perceptor there in the background. Unfortunately, I picked up the reissue before I picked up the original box version of Perceptor, and that is sealed in the box, but unfortunately I picked up it too late to have him sign it at BotCon 2010. See Bruticus there all in one piece. Obviously fitting the taller stuff on the bottom shelf now. The Deluxe Autobot Whirl. The Blue Streak, what is that, the Masterpiece that was available through Toys R Us. And then an original Blue Streak, not in too great a shape there. The original read-along books that still has the records inside them, the little, I think they're called 45s. A comic magazine from 1984. Obviously, Ultra Magnus boxed. Astro Train pulling what little bit of pieces I have for the Transformers Railroad playset from the 80s. The sealed Snarl back there. The original Transformers party hats, and that just some of the craziest things you've ever seen, along with some other Skywarp stuff there. Obviously, Sideswipe, Blitzwing I had to set up underneath of Omega Supreme, and then the what was that? Combiner Wars Devastator? actually stands like literally 1.5 feet tall. I mean, it was really the scale that we all wanted to see Devastator as in the first place. The complete set of aerial bots in the back, along with another signed VHS copy of the original cartoon. The Omega Supreme, which is 100% functional. And, of course, so it goes into the original Constructicons, the original Devastator, as you can see, much smaller if you didn't know anything about Transformers before watching this. Along with it, I've got, the wheeljack in the box. The box was damaged from me having kids, but I got another wheeljack out. Jetfire in the background, along with where he was introduced in the comics. Extra Constructicons in both robot and vehicle mode, aside from being Devastator there. 2 of the 3 mail-aways. I'm still looking for the 3rd. And a top-down view showing all the tech specs of each Constructicon. You can see it much nicer in this case because this case wasn't a working case in the store, so the top to it is in a lot better shape, but it's a front loader and it's kind of a pain in the butt to load. Moving on is a shelf kind of dedicated to the Insecticons and their clones, which is why I can't stop buying Insecticons. And, of course, Topspin, Twin Twist, which are both still functional, but just barely. Those things, they did not age well as toys. Moving on, we've got this little cup with Omega Supreme on it, and some of the stuff that is the hardest to find are the Transformers tie-in stuff. Some of the toys really aren't that hard to find. They're super easy, actually. Like this smoke screen here is one of, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 of the repops that are in the collection. Everything else here is actual real stuff, except for Smokescreen, Prowl, and Skids. Skids is Japanese reissue, while Prowl and Smokescreen are the 2003 re-releases from Toys R Us. Now, these 2 blasters here, the bottom blaster is, of course, in really good shape, and then the upper blaster there is pretty tore up. I found them at a garage sale for $1. I couldn't help but to buy them and put them in the collection. Now, that is a original deal, no Walmart crap. 2 original Soundwaves with the original tapes with their original accessories. No added on crap from the new Soundwave. That's all, 1984 original stuff. Obviously not the Bumblebee and Soundwave in there, but you guys know what those are if you're into collecting these at all. I believe the cup and the blur in the background there, I believe, are sealed. I managed to pick those up at a garage sale. Not cheap, but cheap enough to buy at a garage sale. And then Defensor still in the package, obviously open and play with a little bit, but he's, the packaging is still there. The Trypticon completely works. Galvatron completely works. The Rodimus Prime there, I always got a little confused because as a kid I had that particular one with the plastic wheels, but my buddy had one with rubber wheels, and then they reissued it with the rubber wheels. So I was all sorts of confused why mine had plastic wheels. If you know why, drop some knowledge on me down in the comments below. I don't know everything. I do know a fair amount. There's Scattershot. We also call him Gunbutt. The comic there where Predacon is featured in the comic, right underneath Predacon. And then the 2 Metroplexes I have. This one isn't as in good a shape as the one that's actually in the box there. But since all the mini-bots scale well with them, that's how I display it. And I've got all the Season 1 and Season 2 mini-bots. The Season 3 mini-bots to me just weren't worth picking up. They didn't do enough backstory or anything on them. It just wasn't something that really interested me. One of the original Universe comics that explained to you what faction each robot was in and what their powers were, what guns they carried. Basically their tech specs in a comic book. Going through some of the stuff that I just don't have room in the cases for, and let me zoom in on the card here. Big Redhead Comics and Vintage Toys, big shout out to them, is where I've gotten probably over a quarter of this collection here. But this is just stuff that, there's the Stan Bush signed movie holographic wallet with Starscream on it. This is actually one of the original transforming burger things you got from, I don't know, I think it was Burger King back in the day. Maybe one of these days. I mean, I think I've got a few more. I just didn't want to dig them out. Pewter Transformers belt buckle. Now you guys know what all this stuff is. Look at the big 6-shot here. Obviously, no place in the case to put them. My case room is just totally exhausted. The Minosaur that I never really got to finish. I wanted to, complete them and set up a display like I had for Devastator. It just didn't happen. A couple of the diecast Universe ones. Look at that. The original instructions to Overdrive. Skylinks. He's a little tore up, but hey, he's always been one of my favorites since I was a kid. This little Transformers overnight bag, I guess, for kids. It's actually still got the straps and everything in it. And then, of course, the big jumbo collector's case that was the same between Transformers and G.I. Joe and Barbie and every other kind of collection that was ever out there. Like some Transformers reading material. Obviously, original comics, some of the original books, the card backs to a lot of the figures, which had the tech specs and all the info on them. Some extra instructions come with it, and mind you, this is just a quarter, is all the instructions and stuff that came with the actual toys and the packaging. So like some of these are, some of the original books, just kind of like read-along books. And then some of the video games, one of the mystery boxes from Hot Topic, which I didn't even know that's what it was until like 2 years ago. Along from everything that sits inside the collection, this stuff is permanent fixtures on the wall in my living room. Huge shout out to my wife who lets me do all this. Metal Transformer sign. I think I got that at Hobby Lobby. This Transformers poster, which was pretty common anywhere from music record stores to Walmart for a while. Same deal with this one. Obviously the one in the middle. The only thing in the living room that's not hung up that didn't have to do with Transformers. That is a BotCon 06 convention exclusive with the Dinobots coming down. And then finally, this wraparound canvas piece. And I believe this was from Hobby Lobby, but man, it was tough to find, showing different box art through the years of Generation 1. Last but not least, and guys, let me know if you want a video on this, I've actually got an exclusive Transformers fold-out G1 Autobot base. This thing is like really freaking crazy to see, but it's massive to unfold, so if you guys want to see a video of that, let me know also in the comments below. And as sacrilege as it is, I've still got the GoBot collection to cover. Now, to round out my Generation 1 Transformers collection is a real-life Cliffjumper. It is argued within Transformers community and car communities if he was a 944 or 924. I believe he was probably a 924, but the 944 is pretty close, and figuring that the toy was like super deformed, quote unquote, then a 944 will do just fine, not to mention it's cheaper. And mine, I even put the Cybertronian glow on mine, and yes, his name's Cliffjumper, and that is exactly how I drive him. Oh, there it is, guys. There is the Generation 1 Transformers collection. One of many, but it's definitely the largest collection I have and what I've put the most time, money, energy, and passion into. If you guys liked what you see today, make sure to subscribe to the channel, check out the rest of the videos I have on the channel and forthcoming videos, so also click the bell icon to stay up to date on all the rest of the collection videos I'm going to be doing. This may be the biggest collection, but it's certainly not the last. So stay tuned, like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for the support. And thank you for watching, my friends.